Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Richard and welcome back to the Stock Market Outlook video sponsored by MarketSmith. And this week was awesome for a bunch of growth stocks. Let's go over to a weekly chart on the Nasdaq. You can see we emerged from a 5 weeks tight pattern here with a really nice breakout, fishing right at the highs pretty much for the week. Really strong action from the Nasdaq Composite, but it wasn't just the big cap tech names that did well. If we go over to S&P 500, this also was quite strong as well, once again finishing pretty much at the highs. And what's really good is that breadth increased in the smaller cap names as well. If we go to the IWO small cap growth, this had very strong action starting on Monday and basically challenging this pivot into the end of the week. And small caps in general, the IWM Russell 2000 also had a very, very strong week. So what's really encouraging here is that the kind of uptrend here is spreading out, and we're seeing a lot of rallying action and strong action from the smaller cap names. Also, I'd like to take a look at the FFTY, the Innovator IBD 50 ETF. This also had a very strong end to the week, finally breaking above these pivots and making its way up the right-hand side of this base. And if this, the IWO IWM, can start trending above this 21 EMA, I think that would be very constructive. And maybe we're a little bit short-term extended here. Some nice consolidation, tight days wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I do want to see us start to trend and form tightness, breakout over and over again. Now, I also like to keep track of basically earnings gap up, and we saw a really nice move from Bill basically on this Friday on huge volume. If we go to a weekly chart, you can see a really strong breakout up 30% pretty much today. And this looks pretty good. I'll be watching to see if this offers an entry, maybe some inside days, consolidation days, and a push through this high volume close. That could be an entry as well. We also had really nice action from Docs this week, which had a pretty bad Thursday, but if you were able to catch a nice gap and go move starting on the 23rd, you could have had a really nice move selling into strength up here and then selling the rest as it breaks this low right here. And it did offer another opportunity here, basically filling in this gap right here, then basically a hot stove reaction, finishing green on the day back above 80. Now let's go over to a 60-minute chart here. You can see it had a sell-off, the nice recovery end of day, filling this right here. So we'll see if this tightens up, allows us to get back in with another entry if you did manage to catch this reversal, basically right at this prior close. But overall, this is definitely one to watch during its IPO advance phase. In general, stuff has been hanging in there. Snap is still going sideways after this earnings gap up. DLO is acting really nicely as well, holding up a nice inside day and up. Actually, it was a 2-2 reversal on this day on higher volume. So this could be actionable next week through these highs, and we'll see what happens right around the 70 mark. But in general, I'm really encouraged by what I'm seeing with the general indexes. Let's go back to the Nasdaq right here. On this Monday, we had a nice push up and then really nice consolidation days on Tuesday and Wednesday. Not great action on Thursday, but today really showed that the bulls stepped in and supported this rally, and now it's back through 15,000. So that's a quick run through of the general market indexes. And as always, in this video, we'll talk about the indexes, leading stocks. Then we'll talk about how my watches performed over the previous week. They'll move on to sentiment from a few different sources, the IBD Big Picture article, and finally the GMI Signal from richardlmoglen.com. So if you do enjoy my analysis, please go ahead and leave a like down below. It does help me out and my channel. And let's dive right in and start with potential market leadership. So sorting by that weekly change, we'll go through these charts here. Bill, as I mentioned, really strong breakout, huge volume, the highest volume ever. So this is definitely one to watch going forward. And it's not out of a consolidation, which is one knock against it, but really strong push here. And once again, up 30% on huge volume. OLO acting really nicely after a retest and consolidation right under the IPO base high here. And you can see I like this tight action and then a nice push, 3-bar break to the upside on this Monday, and that really started this huge move. So getting in on this day, you could have set yourself up for a really nice gain breaking above this DTL right here. So as OLO looks pretty good. S as well had a similar push upwards, nice action, found support right near this high as well. Then a 2-2 reversal on this day, 3-bar break, and then just strong action throughout this week after pulling back into the 21 EMA as well as the 10-day simple moving average. So this looks really strong, definitely short-term extended at this point, just forming wick setup after wick setup after wick setup, and just a really strong move throughout the course of this week. Moving on, we've got SPT, also a really nice move off the 21 EMA area. Nice action on Monday and fall through throughout the week, especially on this Friday. CrowdStrike, nice gap and go move, also very strong on huge volume. And this was really triggered by PANW, which had a nice earnings breakout as well on huge volume, breaking out of this longer term base. And that's as well why S had such strong action. So CrowdStrike one to watch after its earnings, which is on the 31st, but very, very strong action on good volume. UPST consolidated a bit on this day, then it had a nice powerful move here, 3-bar break to the upside on Tuesday, then went sideways, and then strong action once again to end out the week, although this move was on below average volume. Zscaler continues to trend higher off the 21 EMA area. This looks very, very strong. Maybe a little bit short-term extended from the 10-day simple at this moment, but this has been one of the strongest of the cybersecurity stocks. GNRC also acting really well. Nice push off these lows and a nice breakout on this Friday. NVIDIA following through from the cup and handle breakout here looks really good. And this is really textbook action and what you want to see during a breakout. You have a strong push upwards, strong closing range, and then very tight days on lower volume. And it just continues to basically form that pattern, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, then breakout. Fiverr back above this high volume close for the first time in a while. So this could be actionable if this is kind of your style, kind of bottom fishing here. But nice double inside days to end out this week. You could buy it through these highs as well as this point right here around 180. Dash, mixed action here. You had a big upside reversal here. And oops reversal as well, then decent fall through. But then you had a gap down and also an oops reversal, but not much fall through and push off that setup. FIGS, really nice move from the undercut and rally here after it found support near its IPO base high. And this day was a little bit of an expectation breaker, at least a negative expectation breaker at the beginning, because from this bar right here, you would expect it to continue higher, but we had a gap down, undercut of this low, but then a very strong end to that day. A nice inside day with a good closing range, and then really nice fall through on this day as well on good volume. So this looks really strong, and we'll see if this falls through and challenges these highs. AMD, nice action, tight action on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then a 3-bar break to the upside on this day. Let's see if it can move up, challenge these pivots, and make its way back towards all-time highs. App, nice strong move above all the key moving averages, looks pretty good. Consolidation day to end out the week on this Friday. Shop also pretty much going sideways on below average volume. This looks pretty good for next week. Twilio, nice push, bullish outside day, retaking most of the key moving averages on this Friday. Looks pretty good. Docs we talked about, nice gap and go move here, and you could have had a nice trade out of this, up 16, 18%, and then obviously getting stopped out here on the 2-2 reversal to the downside on this Thursday, but nice upside reversal off the anchored VWAP from the earnings gap up day, as well as this high pretty much filling that gap. DocuSign also decent action, just kind of grinding higher above the 50 SMA. Team also holding that 10-day simple, looks pretty good. Nice action, really good closes during this move up, although there's not huge volume coming in, which is one knock against the setup. Tesla also going quiet and tight here, below average volume, looks pretty good. EMPH also going sideways right above the 21 EMA. GLBE, nice move here, 2-2 reversal, and nice upside reversal on this day off the 21 EMA. So definitely another potential setup here of the undercut rally of that key moving average, and then fall through to the upside here on really nice volume. ASAN just grinding higher above that 21 EMA. SE above that 10-day simple looks decent. DDOG just going sideways, some downside reversal bars, which isn't great. But so far it's holding up here above the 10-day simple. But I might be watching for an undercut and reclaim of the 21 EMA and these lows right here around 129. Roblox, nice move early on in the week, but then a expectation breaker here on this Thursday, and then pretty much just fall through to the downside on this day, although it is on below average volume. Crocs doing what Crocs does, riding that 21 EMA to higher prices, looks pretty good. A nice move on this day, although it didn't quite manage a 3-bar break to the upside. Net, decent action going sideways on below average volume, looks pretty good into next week through this pivot around 125 or so. CFLT tried to break out on this day, but had a pretty poor closing range and then fall through to the downside on this day, but then established a range once again. Nice action on this day, and then an inside day, but not a great closing range to end out the week. CMG just grinding higher, looks pretty good. Roku tried to move up here, but couldn't retake the 200-day SMA, although it is holding a declining 50 SMA at this point. We'll see if it finds support right near this level and can finally push back through those key moving averages and start a right side to this base. U acting reasonably well. This day was a negative expectation breaker, but an inside day and decent end to the week on this Friday. Dexcom looks good, just trending above the 10-day simple moving average. SQ holding that 21 EMA looks pretty decent into next week. LC also looks strong, holding that 10-day simple. DLO going sideways. This could be actionable through these highs next week. And Snap holding that 21 EMA and 10-day simple just barely. But this day does give me a little bit of pause on higher volume. And we've got Moderna, which also didn't end the week too well, although you did have a nice push early on this Monday, but we'll see if this can hold this key moving average. Domo looks like this was on earnings, very high volume, good closing range, but still a gap down, so we'll have to see how this acts. And finally, BNTX, which looks a little bit better than Moderna, holding that 21 EMA, and this move sideways pretty much is on below average of volume. So overall, really nice action from the majority of this list. Bill is one to watch going into next week and into the future after this huge earnings breakout on the highest volume ever. Olo, nice action. S, really strong move, as well as the majority of the cybersecurity stocks like CrowdStrike and Zscaler. And we've got plenty to watch into next week, such as Net and Tesla, which are pretty much going sideways below pivots on declining volumes. So moving on, let's take a look at my focus list and sort by that weekly change. And let's go through these charts pretty quickly. SITM acting well above the 10-day symbol, looks pretty good. Pretty much just went sideways last week. Snap, we already talked about, looks decent, but this bar does give me a little bit of pause. I do want to see it rally from here after this kind of retake of the 21 EMA. Comp also going sideways above the 21 EMA, as well as this prior pivot on declining volume, looks decent, but these wicks do give me a little bit of a pause. I do want to see us push through here on volume. CFLT, we talked about. Lulu going sideways above the 21 EMA, looks pretty good on declining volume. ALGN, nice push through the DTL here, but then pretty much failed it on this Thursday, although it did hold an inside day above the 10-day on this Friday. ZI also going sideways on declining volume, definitely one to watch into next week. It has had a lot of trouble with the 63 area, so I want to see it be able to push through this high on volume, as well as retake the green line, which is the prior high set all the way at its IPO advanced phase, and that's at 64.4. Moving on, we've got DDOG, which we already covered. Zim, nice oops reversal on this Tuesday. Failed breakout here, but holding that 10-day simple with a nice inside day on this day. So maybe watch for fall through here as it maybe forms a little bit of a handle. I would like some more inside days here before a push upwards, managing risk right at this swing low. NTLA, nice push on this Monday, and then just going sideways above the 21 EMA. Docs we already covered. Dash we talked about as well. KLIC, nice move up, especially on this Friday. Not huge volume coming in, but we'll see how this acts into next week. Skin, nice push upwards as well above the 10-day simple. And finally, DOCN, very strong end to the week. And overall, really strong action off the 21 EMA. So overall, a pretty good week from my watch list. DOCN, Skin, KLIC. You could have gotten a really nice trade in Docs as well on this gap and go move. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow on Sunday when I'll be posting my next list of ideas. And now moving on to sentiment, we saw a jump from 48.3% bullish to now 60.2% bullish, which is a pretty dramatic jump. But keep in mind, we had a very strong end to the week, which seems to really affect these results. So this isn't too surprising. And obviously, I also want you guys to answer this sentiment survey down below in the comment section. Who is the GOAT, Messi or Ronaldo? Let me know your thoughts down below. But moving on to the NAAIM exposure index, this is back pretty high at 92. Once again, a little bit of a caution sign for me. I would like to have seen this stay down below in the 70s. And looking at the put call ratio, this is back just kind of mid-range here. Not much to say about this indicator. And also the bulls versus bears poll, this is a good sign actually. There is still some fear. You can see we're at the lowest levels in quite some time. So not much to say in terms of sentiment. We are obviously a little bit exuberant given the strong end to the week overall. Looking at the IBD Big Picture article, the headline is Nasdaq S&P 500 jumped to record highs on Powell's speech. Airbnb PLTR at buy points. And reading through the article, they discuss Airbnb PLTR. They talk about Powell's speech where he said most likely tapering will start this year. Most likely a policy change will be announced at the September 21-22 meeting. They also discuss NVIDIA, which continues to act really, really nicely. And they highlight PLTR's chart down here and mention Airbnb. So overall, the current outlook is confirmed uptrend with 3 distribution days on the S&P 500 and 2 on the Nasdaq. Lastly, we've got the GMI Signal, which is still green since May 26th. And on Friday, the GMI score was a strong 5 out of 6. And Dr. Rich also highlights GNRC because it is hurricane season here. And this just broke out actually nicely on this Friday. So overall, taking everything into account, my current view is a confirmed uptrend. Leading stocks are acting really well. We're seeing new breakouts every day, 2 all-time highs. And there's a ton of opportunities out there at this moment. But as always, we have to manage risk and make sure that's taken care of. We always want to avoid large losses, but make sure you guys tune in tomorrow when I'll be posting my next list of ideas. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really does help me out. And with that said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Thanks.